So let me start the session. So today's session would be on asymptotic notation, as I said in last class. So we are on to the module 2 once again. So the first concept was algorithms. Then the second topic was asymptotic notation. So we have a 3 asymptotic notation to be studied today with a kind of problems. So first of all, let us understand why do we need asymptotic notation? What does this asymptotic notation helps you really with respect to the data structures or analysis of algorithms, right? So somehow we have covered on 50% of this topics from this module. So let all the people join. Let us wait for 1 minute. So till then we will revise what we have done in this unit. So we have studied this PPT with respect to the types of data structures, what is linear and what is non-linear. All these data structures we are going to study in, from the syllabus point of view throughout the end of this module, right? That is till 5th module. So we have studied introduction to data structures, what is fundamental concepts, types of data structures, what is the meaning of primitive and non-primitive, then what are the operations that could be performed in that. Yesterday we have seen with respect to one of the data structure, that is a linear, that is called single dimensional array. We have seen what is insertion and deletion. Overall I have just shown you, not detail. Next, memory representation. There are two types, sequential and linked, I said. And we have come to the algorithm. What is the algorithm should consist of? Input, output. So all these are all the characteristics that as with respect to the syllabus. So analysis of algorithm. So today we are going to study these things. How do you analyze the particular algorithm? Okay, that is efficiency of algorithm, how it is being measured. So there are three cases: worst case, average case, and the best case. Okay. Though in order to measure these worst case, best case, and the other cases, we use asymptotic notations. Okay. So asymptotic notation, it is a notation which we use to describe the asymptotic running time of an algorithm. So what is that asymptotic running, right? So in simple language, if I ask you to measure the efficiency of an algorithm or a program, you come across two aspects. One is whether my algorithm or program run faster, or whether it is less, it consumes less amount of memory, right? So two major aspects you take into the consideration is, was first is a memory, second is the time, right? At what faster time you can execute your program. These are all the two major aspects you take into the consideration while executing the program. Hence, time complexity is the measure of running time of an algorithm for a given set of inputs. Similarly, I could represent time with respect to the time complexity, memory with respect to space complexity. So time complexity, space complexity. So these are all the different types of notations we are going to study, in which three are important. So I was talking about time complexity and space complexity, the two basic things that are taken into the consideration while measuring the efficiency of an algorithm. Okay, so let us focus on the, hence we use few of the notations. These notations are called as asymptotic notation. And yes, sorry for the issues. Okay, let me share. So I was talking about the asymptotic notations. We have the three types of notations. Basically, these are all the types of notation. Let me come to the point. I was discussing about the time complexity and the space complexity. Okay. So this is big O notation. Let me go directly to the major concept of it, right? So here we have, so asymptotic notation with the syllabus point of view, we have three asymptotic notation: big O notation, omega notation, and theta notation. Okay, so this thing we have seen what all the characteristics of an algorithm, how do you represent of an algorithm, and what is the efficiency of an algorithm. So let me review once again. Algorithm, you have to write definition of an algorithm. How does the algorithm works? Like we have set of inputs, set of outputs. Similarly, the characteristics of an algorithm, when you talk about the characteristics of an algorithm, so these are all the few of the characteristics, right? There should not be ambiguity, right? Ambiguity in the sense, for a specific input there should be specific output. It is not that once in an attempt of four, that is in an attempt of four execution, if you get different output for a same input, we say that there is an ambiguity with the program or the algorithm, right? So the meaning of ambiguity, I'm just clarifying. So though I have done it in one of the mode, to explain this concept, what is the meaning of ambiguity? Ambiguity means there is certain kind of confusion. For example, you execute the same program for a same input at different attempts. In both the attempts, if you get the different output, you say that there is something wrong with the program, or else it is not logical problem. It is a like confusion, which output is correct or not. So that is ambiguity. There should not have ambiguity. So all these are all the characteristics. Represent of an algorithm, we have seen this. How do you represent an algorithm? Using the statements, right? You have a start, you have an end, and you write in terms of a steps. All these things we have seen in the first unit. And how do you measure the efficiency of an algorithm? So efficiency, today's topic is measuring the efficiency of an algorithm. So how do you measure the efficiency of an algorithm? We do measure the efficiency of an algorithm based on the time complexity and the space complexity, right? Time of algorithm, so it is called time complexity. And is, what is time complexity? It's measured by counting the number of primitive and elementary steps, right? So these are taken into the consideration while measuring the efficiency of an algorithm. Then we have certain notations, okay? So we have called asymptotic notations. What are these asymptotic notations? We have three basic asymptotic notations. One is a big O, another is omega, and one is theta. Let me go with the big O notation today. A very simple notation. So big O notation, it is symbolically represented like big O, like capital letter O. So I request all of you to concentrate rather than focusing on attendance, right? As I have forwarded in the WhatsApp group the status of the attendance. So it is for only those people who are not regularly attending. Those are having only 2 sessions or 1 sessions throughout the 1 month they have attended. Maybe for them I have sent the PDF file to verify and be attentive to the class. So first you concentrate the class. Later on we will discuss last 10 minutes few of the issues of this topic and the subject. Okay, so today's big O notation. What is a big O notation? Big O notation is a method that is used to express the upper bound. Remember, the major word that you have to remember is upper bound. What is upper bound? This you have to remember. Big O, as the name itself, it is a big. Big means it is an upper bound. Graphically, if you want to analyze what is upper bound, we have two functions, f of n and c of g of n, where c is a constant. Okay, f of n, c of g of n. F of n is a function, c multiplied by g of n is also one of the function. We are going to represent these along the x-axis and y-axis with respect to the function. So how do you write? F of n is equal to big O of g of n. Okay, f of n is equals to big O of g of n in such a way that always c of g of n is greater. Remember, c of g of n is greater than f of n. So the notations are being used to represent the upper bound function. See, upper bound of the running time of an algorithm. It is denoted by big O. So by using big O notation, we can compute maximum possible amount of the time that an algorithm will take for its completion, either with respect to the time, either with respect to the memory. So maximum possible amount of time that an algorithm will take for its completion. So you're measuring the time complexity, how fast your program is or the algorithm is going to execute using big O notation. So big O is this. So the function is f of n, big O of g of n. Always g of n is greater here, c of g of n. So you have to remember this graph. So that is f of n equals to big O of g of n. This is mandatory for the exam that you have to write this graph along x-axis. N is plotting. So where it is, you have the value n0, n1, n2. So as the graph crosses over, right, you could see that at long run, always c of g of n is greater than or equals to f of n. So here it is what? C of is equals to, why has dotted the plotted line? Where it has intersected or where it has intersected or where it has intersected, we have f of n equals to big O of g of n. This you have to remember. Okay. Clear? So what you have is big O of g of n. So you could see C of g1 is greater, no? So let me go with one of the problem. So always you have to write for explain a big O notation. Big O notation is used to represent the upper bound of the running time of an algorithm. This statement is important for you. Okay. This statement is very much important. Why do you use a big O notation? Big O notation is being used to represent the upper bound of the running time of an algorithm. So it is denoted by big O. The function is f of n equals to big O of g of n, where f of gn, c of gn is always greater than equals to f of n. So in the graph, always remember, you should not reverse it. Upper bound c of g of n. So we'll come to the next notation in that c of g1 is downside. F of n is upper bound. So with respect to this, some of the typical complexities with respect to big O of n is big O of n equals to constant 1. For 1, always it is a constant. So for big O of n, it is linear. So big O of n square is quadratic. This is an analysis. So big O of n to the power of 3 is cubic. So similarly, we have exponential and logarithmic. So now if you remember this formula, so let me go to one of the problem that has to be solved for given the function. So either the question, one of the compulsory question from this unit, that is a module 2, is explain the asymptotic notation. Definitely this will be 100% question for the examination. So this is a 100% question, I assure that. So they cannot skip this question. So even an examiner may not skip this question for the examination. Explain asymptotic notation or explain any of the asymptotic notation or specifically explain big O notation with one of the equation being given. So how do you do that? Let us solve one of the equation. Okay, clear hopefully, right? Big O notation, identify f of n equals to big O of g of n where c of g of n is greater than. So where c is a constant. So you have to write in the graph c of g of n, f of n. And when it is being equals, when they do intersect at n naught, f of n equals to big O of g of n. Here c of g of n, that is c is constant is being multiplied to g of n. Either may be constant 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 as such. So c minimally starts 1 because if it multiplied by 0, what happens? It becomes 0. So c should start from 1. Next, coming to the problem. Once again, I request you to concentrate on the class rather than putting your name on chat session. Derive big O notation. Given the equation, f of n equals to 8n plus 7, g of n equals to n. Right? So as in the problem he has said big O. So what is the equation of big O notation? You have an equation of big O notation, f of n less than c of g of n. So it is the given solution. F of n is greater than, once again I repeat, f of n is less than c of gnn for all n greater than equals to 0. Okay. So what is n 8n by 7? It is f of n been given, no? So that is less than or equals to C of G of n. So what is C of G of n is here? Given G of n is n. So let me plot that also. That is minimally equals to 7 plus 8 is 15. So let us assume C equals to 15. So why do you assume C equals to 15? If you assume that C equals to 15, one second, so I'll erase this. Now let me analyze. So given problem, f of n is 8n plus 7. You plot on the LHS 8n plus 7, right? Less than or equals to C of G of n, right? This is from the formula what we have derived, upper bound. So C of Gn should be greater, no? In order to make it greater, so 8 plus 7 is 15. 15 should be a constant. Let us assume C equals to 15. 15 multiplied by anything is always greater than 8n plus 7. So with respect to that point of view, let us assume 8n plus 7 less than or equals to the value, let us assume 15 as a C constant, C of G of n. He has given G of n. What is the value of G of n given in the problem? C of Jn equals to n. Is it or not? So now 15n. Now let us derive for other value. So you reduce it 7. When you minus 15n minus 8n, it becomes 7n. Again, what will the value of n? So again, 7 divided by 7 is 1. So you become 1 less than or equals to n. So therefore, what happens to n here? N is greater than 1, no? So with that point of view, given f of n 18n plus 7 less than 15n for all n greater than 1. This you have to write with respect to the C equals to 15, n naught equals to starts from 1. Hence the derivation f of n equals to big O of G of n. Hopefully understood this problem. Before we go to the next notation, once again, so any doubts on this problem? Let me say once again, big O notation is used to represent the upper bound of the running time of an algorithm. So f of n equals to big O of G of n, where f of n is less than C G of n. So graphically, you do represent C G of n, where C is a constant, right? F of n is a function f of n. So in the problem, f of n is being given, G of n is also given. So I do represent with respect to the big O notation, f of n less than equals to C G of n, right? As been given in the problem for all n greater than equals to 0. So I do assume C equals to 15. So 15 multiplied by n. N was given G of n. So I do derive the value for n. See, so I do derive the value for n. N will be less than or equals to 1. Hence the same thing I do represent for the given function f of n 8n given less than 15n. We have for all n should be greater than 1, where C equals to 15 and n naught equals to 1. N naught 1 equals to 1 means where it intersect. Clear? So similarly, we have one more problem. So in this case, what happens? So analyze this, all of you. Given if you have a sheet of paper, will you be able to trace this f of n and g of n? Same thing, f of n given 2n plus 2. So g of n is n square. So we have to start with n equals to 1. For n equals to 1, what happens? We have f of n is greater than g of n for one case. For n equals to 2, again n equals to 2, what happens? F of n, you calculate f of n, g of n. So f of n is again greater than equals to g of n. But what happens for n equals to 3, when you calculate f of n equals to 8, g of n, say hence it reverses now. f of n is less than g of n. So therefore, finally you have to write f of n of g1 is less than g of n is true if and only if n is greater than equals to 2. Right? Have you followed? So before I go to the next notation, have you followed? Fast. So I need to discuss something regarding the syllabus and regarding internals and few of the questions and the question bank. Before that, I just want, have you followed or not? No replies. So have you followed or not? Okay, let me continue. So similarly, see, there are three notations. In fact, practically when you study data structures, we have these kind of notations. But since at the basic level, you are going to study big O, omega, and theta, not small o, small omega. So let us not have any sort of confusion. You are studying big O, omega, and theta. Okay. So these are all three notations here you are going to study. So f of n, they are upper bound. In simple language I have made you, I'm not confused. So for upper bound we do go with the uh, this one, big O. Similarly for lower bound we do go with the lower bound, we go with the omega. Okay, so let us go to the second asymptotic notation called omega notation. So why do you use omega notation? Omega notation is being to represent a lower bound of the running time of the algorithm. So you are going to represent the lower bound of the running time of the, that is time complexity, how fast the your algorithm is going to fast, right? In the above problem you have seen, first problem was quite simple, calculating the for the value c equals to 15. The second was just identifying for which value of n it will, the function will work. So the for equals to, for the value n equals to 3, f of n is be less than or equals to g of n. Okay, that is n greater than equals to 2. Similarly, let me go to the next notation called omega notation. What is omega notation? So in the case of omega notation, it is used to represent the lower bound. So we have upper bound, lower bound. So upper bound you have seen c of g1 is greater than f of n. It is not f of n greater. C of g of n is greater than f of n. That is f of n is less there. In the case of you know, omega notation, you see what is happening in the graph. Let me go directly to the f of n is greater than c of g of n. And where do we have intersection? It is called n naught. At this moment, at this intersection, f of n equals to big of g of n, right? There is no confusion. In the exam also, you have to write the same graph. The graph may vary. It starts somewhere else and do intersect at n naught and f, where f of n equals to big O of g of n. So this is, okay, this is omega, okay? Omega of g of n, omega of g of n. This is n naught. So in fact, this is omega of g of n, okay? There's a correction. So you could write omega of g of n, right? Next, so let me focus. How do you write the equations for omega notation? Omega notation are being used to represent the lower bound of the running time of algorithm. That is to measure the complexity. Then it is being denoted by like the symbol is same. Now, how do you write? Always f of n is greater than c of g of n. There in the first asymptotic notation, it was reverse. F of n is greater than c of g n, where n is greater than equal to 0, right? There it was the same, that is n greater than equal to 0, but f of n is less than equals to c of g of n. Remember, there is no confusion. Upper bound f of n is lesser, lower bound, that is omega, f of n is greater. Remember this graph. If you remember this graph, you find it easy. If you reverse the answer, you will lose the marks. Remember, right? So now let us deduce the omega notation. F of n equals to 2n square plus 4, g of n equals to 6n. So this is being given. So as per the equations, omega is there, it is a lower bound. So what do you do for omega? F of n equals to 2n square given, g of n equals to 6n. So will you analyze this, all of you? Analyze this. I'll give 2 minutes. Just analyze this problem. I'll explain once you analyze. I have displayed the program. Just analyze it. Analyze this question, all of you. Yes, hopefully you have analyzed, you have tried to analyze. See, it is very simple. Given f of n, g of n, you need to calculate for individual value n equal to 0. So for n equal to 0, f of n was 4, g of n is 0. So hence we say that in this case, f of n is greater. Similarly, n equals to n, you analyze the equations. Again, f of n was equal to g of n. So when you analyze for n equals to 3, so again, what happens? F of n is greater than g of n. So therefore, we could say that f of n is greater than c of g of n only if n is greater than equals to 2. So from that value, so this is an analysis for the asymptotic notation omega. So this is an examination questions actually that is being given in the exercise. So you could expect the same sort of questions in the even an examination, given the problem, or else explain the asymptotic notation, right? Uh, Similarly here, the same one more problem is beyond 2n plus 6. You have to deduce it. You need to work it out, right? The final notation is a theta. So what is theta notation? Theta notation is used to represent it in between, not the upper bound, not the lower bound, in between. So basically you don't have to focus on all the notations that is in the PPT that what I have shared. Okay. You may focus only on these particular three notation, that is big O, omega, and theta notation. Theta notation is used to express the running time of an algorithm between lower bound and the upper bound. So I'll explain this in the next class. In fact, now see what is upper bound and lower bound. Function is in between. You have two functions, C1 g of n, C2 g of n. So because we have a problem regarding this, so overall theta notation is used to express the running time of an algorithm between the lower bound and upper bound. This much is important. So this could be three types of notations that I've told you that I'll do today, right? So now let me discuss something else regarding the syllabus. I request you to give the attendance in the chat session and communicate with me either with a voice or with a chat, all of you. So I'll enable your sound. I'll unmute. So anyone have doubts regarding the module 2, what you are going with. This is the fourth uh, session we are going with. As I have uploaded the notes is same as if like the book what I have scanned. So you could go ahead with the notes in Google Classroom. See what all the things I have shared in the Google Classroom. I just wanted to show you. So notes on the first module and notes on the second module, right? Notes, what I have done is I have scanned the same, right? So module 2 has been shared. Module 1 has been shared completely, clear scan copy. So you could refer only this thing, and I feel it is quite simpler. For example, if the question is explain the asymptotic notation, so how simple it looks like. See, theoretically you have to explain only this thing. So the brief description on this and omega notation brief description on this, you don't have to represent the problem. If they ask you specifically with respect to the example or else they give, you could explain, right? Similarly, what are the characteristics of an algorithm? So very simple answer that is being given. Algorithm, what is an algorithm? You could write the answer. Characteristics, very simple, 3.2, right? How do you represent the algorithm? So this is the way, one of the way, right? And what is the, how do you measure the efficiency? What is the meaning of efficiency of algorithm? Efficiency of algorithm represents the time complexity and space complexity. I have shared module 1, module 2, and I have yesterday I have made a module 1 question bank, so from my colleague, and this was the previous model question paper I have sent you, and I have made you one of the assignment also. So all of you have to submit that assignment also. So the assignment was to write down. One was it was regarding a tracing. Few people have not submitted. I request you to submit that also, right? So one more assignment I posted probably. Yeah, this was the. This is just for a valuation point of view, all of you. So I request this also, all of you to submit this, right? Answer any 3 questions from each part. So you have a choice to select it, all of you. You could submit this one also. Yes. Do you have any queries? Any queries regarding? So somehow the syllabus, what I have done, type of the structures not touched, because we can do it. Arrays, I have yesterday's, I have shown you what is single dimensional array. How do you insert the array element and how do you delete? Let us, we have not yet completed, and we need to go with the this one also. And one more suggestion, module 1 is too vast. You need to do a better planning, right? Compared to module 2, I find it quite easy, and you could expect a direct questions from a module 2 rather than module 1. So simple example, in the module 2 first part, asymptotic notation will be the compulsory question. So this you could really plan very well, right? And in the module 2 part 2, so you could expect the question from arrays. Explain an algorithm for inserting an array element in a single dimensional array, or some programs on matrix that is of 2-dimensional. We are going to see it somehow by 29th. We are going to complete. My plan is to keep both the modules so that we find it easy, at least till here, so that, because my suggestion towards module 1 is we may not expect 100% planning. We may not do for a module 1, because it is a completely theory, C recap 1, C recap 2, whereas we can 100% do a proper planning on module 2. So I request you to cooperate, and we will keep this module also for internals, right? So that is from my side. So if anything from your side, you could communicate. So today is a simple class to discuss asymptotic notation. So you could refer the Google Classroom. Even I'm looking for a few of the question papers also, that I'll forward it. So one question paper I got it. That was from some other branch. So data structures, that was 18 CS 32. It was not open elective subject, but syllabus is different there. Okay, syllabus is different. Somehow I uploaded. It is not relevant to much of the syllabus. And regarding an attendance, I have forwarded you the full history of the people who are attending the classes. So I request them also to attend it regularly, or else they find it difficult at end. See, there are around 32 members, still only 20 members are attending the class. So you have to be, careful regarding this, because you are getting the messages also. Those who are not attending the classes, they're getting the messages, right? Yes, anything to discuss? Okay, so 29th we'll have internals. So before that, you go through few of the questions of module 1, what I have forwarded, and module 2 questions I will give it, in fact, by the end of this week, right? So which are all the important topics, and this will be the 100% asymptotic notation. At this I'm going to ask it definitely one question: explain asymptotic notation. I may ask you the problem also, right, from this topic, one of the definite question. And what are the characteristics of an algorithm, right? This will be a question from my point of view, and even with the examination point of view. See, if you want, I just show you what all the expected questions over here. See, we have a questions: what is an algorithm, characteristics, how they're represented, what is algorithm complexity. Complexity means how do you measure the complexity of the algorithm. You have to write what is time complexity, what is space complexity, what is asymptotic notation. Even I'm going to write down only these questions, and I'm going to give it.